Hello, namaste, yogis. Today's practice, we are going to be getting a little bit more fiery. So we will be working on Bhastrika Pranayama as well as Kapalabhati. And for our meditation, we will be doing Trataka meditation. So you will need a candle, and I would recommend 2 blocks or a chair or potentially a small table. So if you need to press pause and grab those items, please do that. And then we will come back and come to a seated position. So we'll begin with our first pranayama technique. We'll be moving into Bellows Breath. So this breath is going to be focusing on a forceful inhalation, forceful exhalation, all through the nose. This will be creating some heat within our body. It will help to wake you up in the mornings as well. So we will do 3 rounds of this breath. With each round, we will do 10 cycles of this breath. Between each round, we will sit and observe what we feel through this breath technique. Okay, so beginning with Bhastrika Pranayama. Finding yourself in a comfortable position, legs crossed in front of you. Rest your palms down on your thighs or your knees. You can keep the eyes open, gazing at one place, one spot in front of you, maybe about 3 feet in front of you on the ground, just to ground your energy. You can close the eyes if you would like. And just first, as we do with all of our pranayama practices, we first connect to our natural breath. So as you close the eyes or gaze at one spot, start to tune in to your breath. Tune in to the natural rhythm of your breath, the natural cadence. Observe the quality of your breath, the depth of your breath, the length of your breath. And can you begin to smooth out the breath, little by little, breath by breath. Nice, slow, smooth inhalation. Slow, silky exhalation. Staying with your natural breath here for about another minute. Keeping yourself mindful in this present moment with your natural breath. And notice as you simply tune in to your natural breath, how the breath may automatically change. Perhaps it becomes a little bit longer, a little bit fuller, maybe a little bit slower and calmer. And then take another inhale through the nose, filling all the way up. Exhale out of the mouth, let it all go. You can keep the eyes closed if you would like, or slowly blink them open. Just taking a moment here, maybe rolling the shoulders around and settling back into your body. And we will now move into our Bhastrika Pranayama. So with this breath, as I mentioned, we'll be breathing in and out of the nose. Now it will be a little bit more forceful on the inhale. So you may even feel that belly just press out as you breathe in deeply. And you will pull the belly in, drawing that navel in with strength towards the spine as you exhale out of the nose. So I will demonstrate a few rounds for you, and then we will practice together. And if you would like, you can place a hand on the belly if that helps you to connect with that deeper inhale and forceful exhale as you pull the belly in and away from the palm as you exhale that breath. Okay, so getting yourself comfortable. And on your next inhale, you will take a deep breath in all the way to the belly and exhale, pull that belly in, exhale through the nose forcefully. And then an inhale, exhale out the mouth, and you'll just place the palm back on that knee. So now let's try this together. So again, either hands on the legs or maybe one hand on the belly. Take a cleansing breath, inhaling through the nose, and slowly sigh it out of the mouth. We'll move through about 10 rounds of Bhastrika Pranayama, starting now, inhaling through the nose forcefully. Exhale forcefully. Deep inhale through the nose, filling up. Exhale, let it out. Sitting with a natural breath once again, noticing the effects of this bellows breath. Noticing how similar to that tool used to flame the fire with air to help that fire grow. That can help us to build that fire within us. Sitting in observation for another minute. Noticing any changes to your energy, to your body, to your breath, or your mind. Maybe any temperature changes within the body. And we will move through this breath technique once again. This will be our third of 3 rounds of 10. So sitting up tall, lifting through the crown of the head, relax the shoulders down. Again, if you would like to bring one hand onto the belly, or maybe this time try it with the hand down, it is your choice. We'll take a cleansing breath to begin. Once again, inhaling through the nose. Gently let it out of the mouth. Next inhale, we will begin. Inhale through the nose. Gently exhale, let it go. Sitting now in observation of that second round. Noticing the effects within your body for yourself. The effects to the mind. Your energy. witnessing the effects for another minute. And we will now move into our third and final round of Bhastrika Pranayama. And then we will sit in observation for a little bit longer before moving into our second breath technique. So coming back here, sitting up tall, maybe bringing a hand onto the belly or again resting that palm on your leg. And let's take a gentle cleansing breath in through the nose. And gently let it out of the mouth. Preparing for this final round. Let's begin. Inhale. And let that breath out. Sitting in observation, sitting in mindfulness for about 3 minutes. Noticing what you feel, noticing any subtle transformations or changes within. Perhaps sitting within this space of greater clarity in the mind. Feeling any sensations within the body and reconnecting to a natural flow of breath. Noticing if your mind has wandered into any thoughts, and try to bring it back into this moment, back into any observations from your pranayama. Taking a few more rounds of mindful breaths. And let's take a breath in through the nose. And gently sigh it out. As you are ready, blinking your eyes open. Before we move into our second pranayama technique, if you want to make any movements with the body, noticing and observing how you feel. And then coming back to a seated upright position as we move into Kapalabhati breath. So this is often known as breath of fire, but it translates to mean skull shining breath. So through this breath technique, we will be doing something relatively similar to Bhastrika, where we'll be focusing a lot of our breath now this time only on the exhale, and it will be a quick, forceful exhale through the nose. So we'll be breathing in about 3/4 of the way, and then for about 30 rounds, we'll be pulling the navel in towards the spine very quickly, rapidly, and forcefully for 30 rounds. It'll be a very quick breath, similar to how I'm snapping my finger. Okay. Now through this breath technique, I want you to only focus on the exhale. Oftentimes if we start to bring our mind into the inhale or the breath that we're taking to then focus on the exhale, we start to lose this breath. We start to lose this rhythm. So only focus on exhalation, exhalation, exhale, 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 exhale. Okay. So we're going to be stoking this fire. Again, this internal fire, bringing a lot of energy into our belly, and then notice the effect. After our 30 rounds, we will then sit in an observation, in mindfulness, in meditation for a few minutes between our cycles. We'll be doing 3 total rounds, 30 deep, intense exhalations per round. Okay, but we will be taking some breaks in between. So similar to Bhastrika, if you would like to bring one hand onto the belly, that can really help you to connect with that forceful exhalation as you really pull the navel in. Pull it in, pull it in, pull it in as you exhale that breath. Okay? So let's begin with a cleansing breath first. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling out of the mouth to prepare. On your inhale, breathe in about 3/4 of the way, and then we'll begin with the exhales. Deep inhale, breathe in. Exhale, let it out. You can drop that hand back down onto the leg. Simply notice how you feel as you move back into a natural flow of breath. Although this breath is often called breath of fire because we're building up that heat within our body, it actually translates into skull shining breath because the effects of this breath technique can send a lot of energy and clarity into the mind. So notice as we move into our second round, and then we sit in observation, if you feel those effects of that energy rising up into the skull, creating more lightness, more brightness, more clarity. And take a few more rounds of natural breath here. So remembering with this breath to only focus on that forceful breath out by pulling the navel in to force the breath out of the nose. So you could bring one hand onto the belly if you would like, or just rest both palms on each knee. Sit up tall and upright, shoulders back and down, feeling lifted and open. Let's take a cleansing breath in through the nose, gently out of the mouth. Breathing in about 3/4 of the way. Keep going, keep going, keep going. One more round, then a deep inhale through the nose. Slowly let it out. Noticing any effects to Kapalabhati, Pranayama, as you sit here in stillness, returning to a natural breath. And take a few more rounds of breath, observing anything that you're feeling. And then we will move into our third round. Now you can stay with 30 rounds of this breath, or you can work your way up to 40 or 50. I will keep us going until 50 rounds of that navel drawing in, that intense exhale through the nose. But if you need to stop before that, when you feel like you've had enough, take that deep breath in through the nose and the soft breath out, and then sitting mindfully with the eyes closed, noticing the effects of your breath. So let's all begin together though, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, inhaling, and then those forceful exhales. Last few rounds, keep going. Deep inhale, fill up. And exhale, let it out, soften in. Can you feel that heat? Can you feel that brightness rising up into the mind, creating more space and clarity? Knowing that as you continue practicing Kapalabhati, you can increase your cycles, your rounds of breath to build up even more of that fire and that lightness and brightness within. For now, we will sit for a few minutes here, witnessing the effects of our skull shining breath. Continuing to sit here in silence, taking in your pranayama practice, recognizing the effects for yourself today. About 3 more minutes of sitting here, witnessing and feeling. If the mind has wandered, bring it back into anything that you're feeling, anything that you've observed over our pranayama practice. Sitting here in mindfulness for just 1 more minute. And returning to a nice deep inhale. And maybe sigh it out of the mouth. 2 more mindful breaths. And when you feel ready, slowly blinking the eyes open, letting the light come back in, letting your world come back in. Maybe making any little movements with the body if that feels good before we move into our meditation practice. Now again, this meditation practice, we will be using a candle. So you'll need something to light your candle with. We will also, if you have yoga blocks, that's nice and easy because most of you probably have yoga props already. Or if you have a chair nearby or a small table that is about the height of your eyes. So we will get all of our props together. And if you need to press pause to grab your props, please do that and then come back and join us again. And once you have your props, our aim here is to set up our candle so that we can gaze at it. So Trataka is a meditation. It's a form of meditation where it's concentration. So it's concentrating our gaze. It's often more known as candle gazing. So what this candle gazing meditation is going to do is it is going to help to focus your mind. So bringing about greater concentration. We're going to help to cleanse the mind of distractions. We're also going to be purifying the eyes with the tears that may start to build as you stare at the flame. And as those tears may start to well up in the eyes, that is a good thing. That is cleansing the eyes. And it can also help to build the muscles of the eyes as well. So the way that I like to set myself up is to set it up with 2 blocks. You'll set your candle up on top of the block. Now, if you do have a chair that you prefer to use, then you can use a chair, maybe using a chair and stacking some blocks up. But we want to try to get that candle about the height of your eyes. You can see that mine is a little bit lower. So I'm going to come off of my pillow just to lower myself a little bit more towards the candle. And when you feel ready, you will light your candle. Now, ideally, we want to have a flame that does not flicker too much. Now, I am practicing outside right now, so it may be a little bit different for me. And ideally, if you can practice this meditation in a dark room, so that the candle is the only light, that will help to intensify this practice and have it go a little bit deeper for you as well. So once you have your candle lit, you will place it on your prop in front of you. And when we come to our candle gazing, you'll want to be looking at the candle more at the heart of that flame, so just above the wick. Now, through this meditation, what we will do is we will start off just with the eyes closed, just relaxing the eyes. We will then open up the eyes and we will stare at the flame really until we can't stare at it any longer. So if the eyes start to feel a little bit tense, a little bit tired, or if the eyes begin to water, you just feel that intense urge to blink your eyes, then you'll close the eyes and you will visualize the flame right around the third eye area. So right behind the eyebrows, imagine that flame burning strong within your third eye, within your mind's eye. So once you feel ready and comfortable, you will come to a seat. Close your eyes. Just relax the eyes. Try to soften the mind. Try to find that natural flow of breath. And we will be moving through this Trataka meditation for about 10 to 15 minutes, but we will be taking breaks. You may be able to stare at the flame for only a few seconds. You may be able to stare at that flame for closer to a minute, maybe longer. And it doesn't mean that it's any better or worse for you, the longer or shorter you hold your gaze. So just do what you can today, and knowing that with practice you will be able to stare at that flame a little bit longer. Or maybe on a different day you may be able to stare at that flame for a little bit longer as well. Just be gentle with yourself. Take a few more breaths with the eyes closed, sitting up tall. And then when you feel ready, you will open the eyes and stare right at the heart of that flame, just above the wick, keeping the eyes opened, concentrating on that flame. And if the eyes begin to water or burn, that is your indication that maybe it's time to then close the eyes and visualize that flame now in your mind's eye. We will continue with this practice. If the eyes are closed, just sit there for a few more breaths, trying to relax the eyes. Preparing for our next round. And when you feel ready, you will blink your eyes open, begin to stare and gaze at that flame, trying to keep the eyes now strong, focused, building your level of concentration. It may feel a little bit uncomfortable, but when you're ready, either continue to gaze at that flame, or when you're ready, you can close your eyes and again, visualize that flame. Notice what you see. And take a few more mindful breaths. And once that vision of the flame in your mind disappears, you will continue. When you are ready, opening your eyes, gazing at that flame, seeing that fire, concentrating your gaze. And maybe this time you'll be able to do it for a little bit longer. Continue to sit upright, focused concentration. And when you feel ready, you will close the eyes. Just notice any water that may have built up in the eyes from that practice. Noticing the cleansing effect. Notice what you see with your eyes closed. And take a few more rounds of breath. And when you feel ready, you will open your eyes, gazing at that candle, gazing at that flame. Continuing to gaze if you can, working the muscles of the eyes, working the concentration of your mind. And when you feel ready, you will close those eyes again. Send that visual of the flame up towards your third eye. Another minute here before our final round. And take a few more mindful breaths. And then when you feel ready, one more time, you will open your eyes and you will gaze at the flame. You may be able to gaze a little bit longer as we're building up that stamina, that strength, that focus and concentration. And then when you're ready, you will close the eyes, perhaps noticing the tears, purifying the eyes, the mind being cleansed of any distractions, the mind even more focused and concentrated. And this is one form of candle gazing, or also one form of Trataka meditation. I have also practiced candle gazing by gazing at the candle for much longer of a period of time, allowing myself to blink, but slowing it down. That is another powerful practice. But just notice how this particular practice was for you today. Sit in observation, sit with this feeling, eliminating other distractions on the outside, turning back to that inner flame within yourself. We will sit in silent meditation for about 10 minutes. Allowing yourself to take in the effects of this meditation as well as our pranayama practice today. Seeing what may come up for you. Take note if the mind is traveling into the past or the future. Can you guide it back here to this moment? Continuing to sit in silence for about 5 more minutes. Be aware if you are being distracted by anything around you or any thoughts in your mind. And for the last few minutes here, can you keep the mind focused inward on this moment, breath by breath? And let's bring our awareness back into our breaths once again. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through the nose or the mouth. Continuing to ground your energy, to center yourself. And to take this practice with you for the remainder of your day, observing any effects from our pranayama or our meditation. And let's take one more deep inhale together. And exhale it out of the mouth. Bringing your palms together at the heart, bowing your head down in gratitude for this practice, in gratitude for your journey, and in gratitude for everything that you share with this world. Thank you so very much. Namaste.